Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's great and wonderful and fantastic, and I hope you're getting ready for your holiday, if you have a holiday this week. I've had a few people asking me about the book and how things are going, and so I wanted to give you a little insight, and the main insight is I haven't done anything on it since November. I know that I said that I wanted to write a novella before going back and rewriting the novel that I wrote. And I still feel like that's true. But the main reason I haven't started that project yet is because of the project management class that I went through and me just prepping for this test, right? It's a huge undertaking to pass the PMI certification exam, so that's got most of my focus right now. That being said, the real reason that I haven't started working on the novella is I don't know exactly where to go with it. The situation that I'm in is I wrote a book, 50,409 words. It's technically a book, right? It's a very bad book, and I spent a whole lot of time explaining things that I don't really want to explain to the reader. But I also didn't explain a lot of things that really need to be explained. And I didn't have a clear way of doing that other than introducing a character that my main character would just have to kind of vomit a bunch of information. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that kind of exposition where you, the reader, are kind of getting an education. I don't want to insert scenes that require that, right? So, the purpose of the novella was more along the lines of helping me understand better how to write certain aspects of the book. The magic, for instance. I spent a whole lot of time explaining the magic in the book, and I don't want to do that. I actually don't want that really explained much at all. I mean, let me give you an example. There are a lot of scenes in the book where I try to guide you, the reader, through this whole magic weaving process and grabbing threads and connecting them here and doing this sort of thing. And I don't think that it serves the story at all. It's not the point of the story. But it's a huge chunk of a whole lot of sections where the main character is looking through the magical world and trying to convey all of this to the reader, and it sucks. I don't want it. I want to figure out a much simpler way to say he's using magic and this happens. And the problem with it is I've developed a sort of system of magic that relies on kind of elements, not necessarily fire, earth, water, all that stuff, but meaning that it has aspects, so individual aspects, and so you might combine aspects to do something. And so I have to figure out how to concisely convey to you, the reader, that the character is limited because of environmental situation, the character is limited because of magical situation. I have to be able to figure out how to convey that without going into the nitty-gritty, because that's not really the fun of the book. So the novella was going to be my attempt at writing a very short story, 30 to 40,000 words, that I could very quickly write and then turn around and edit and then turn around and publish, probably on my website. And it would be a very quick kind of way for me to rapidly work the idea of how everything is written. I know how it works. I have the rules in my head. I started writing the rules so that I could keep it straight as I'm writing. But I don't have a good way. I don't have the prose that I need to write those scenes. That's what the novella was for. So that being said, the story of the novella needs to help me figure that stuff out, right? So I need the character to go to a place. I need some sort of conflict to happen there that sends the character on a bigger chase. And as part of that chase, I need to show some limitations of what this character is capable of, and then have that limitation be the way that he overcomes the situation, and then a wrap up resolution, that sort of stuff. I just don't have that story completely figured out yet. I have, I think, the first part of that story figured out. I know what the main conflict of that story would be. I know what the turning point is, when the part where I want the character to really have to make a decision. I know that part. And I have an opening that I think is a strong opening, and I think I just have to figure out the connection between those two, and I haven't figured that out. Once I do, I think I'll write on it. Now, all that being said, I have hit on a pretty good change to the first book that I think would solve a whole lot of this for me, and I'm really excited to start rewriting. But I think that, I know that if I jump in right now and I start the rewrite right now with the couple of ideas that have clicked in my head over the past few weeks, that rewrite is just going to be a setup for a third rewrite, which will be another major overhaul. I don't think I'm currently ready to rewrite and then start editing. I think it's going to be like, if I start rewriting right now, there's going to be another total rewrite. Like, it's going to be, and I don't necessarily know that that's a bad thing. That those, rewriting might be the way that I develop the prose that I'm looking for. But the couple of changes that I've come up with solve a few key issues, but they also open up new issues. So I'm trying to figure out, do I just go ahead with the first rewrite, and then I'll solve those next issues in the next iteration? Or do I try to come up with a solution, a larger solution, and work that into a bigger rewrite? I'm not sure yet. So I'm still kind of thinking on it all. That's where we're currently at with both the first book that I wrote and the novella idea. I just need to put the story, I'm trying to let the story fester in my head. I find that when I do that, I often come up with cool solutions, and then it's easier for me to go ahead. So that's where we're at. I hope that maybe over this Christmas break I'll find some new ideas, and then once this PMI stuff is out of my head, I'll be able to focus a lot more energy on it. But regardless, one way or the other, I expect to be starting back on either the first book or the novella within a week or two. I really want to just get back into writing. I kind of took a month off, so we'll see. That's where we're at. Thank you for asking, though. I've had quite a few questions, and I really appreciate that. And thank you for being here, as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I will see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is doyen. It is a noun meaning a man or woman who is the senior member of a group based on rank, age, experience, etc. Though she is the youngest member of our group, Brittany is our doyen based on her extensive family connections. Doyen, D-O-Y-E-N or D-O-Y-E-N-N-E. I don't know if it seemed to, the idea of it being male versus female, but it only gives one pronunciation guide, so I don't know if it's doyen or doyen. I don't know.